Welcome back to another episode of The Verdict, where the records continue, but not in a good way at all. Our cricket team got demolished, our Springbok women's team lost, and the record at Eden Park also continues. I've got Skalkberger with me. We are joined by Robbie Fleck as well, and they will dissect what happened at Eden Park. Scala, welcome. Not a good weekend at all.
Not if you're a sports fanatic, no. I actually had a good Sunday. Got back from Joburg. Celebrated the Sax under 11 team. We went unbeaten. So I'm sitting with a mild hangover, too large hangover. But yeah, we unfortunately for South Africa, it was tough. The Boks, I called this unfortunately. 14-point deficit to start. There was a lot of other things. We actually came back in the second half. Same frailties in our game exists. To start defensive lapses, which is unusual for us. Line out and breakdown.
Rob, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John.
Quite an epic game on the weekend. I think probably the quality not that high in terms of what we've seen previously from these two teams, but still an epic game of rugby. Is it as epic as your game against the All Blacks in 2000 at Ellis Park when you scored 2 tries? More memorable than that?
46-40 we're talking about.
Was it 46-40? No, John, look, it's the greatest rivalry in rugby. So every test match against the All Blacks is special, whether you're playing in it or watching it. But I agree. Two teams that are probably struggling, for form at the moment, but still the energy and the expectation and the intention in the game was of a very high standard. Disappointed with the outcome. I thought we would do better. But I think we're struggling at the moment in terms of the way we're playing, what we're trying to get done in the game, our game model. And I think both teams are, conflicting sort of styles of play at the moment, and it shows.
We've got a lot that we will look at in terms of the game, but just the initial reaction, it's almost as if, you look at the Ellis Park game, we played really good for 20 minutes against Australia, but then for 60 we were gone. This time it was almost reversed around, where for 60 minutes we weren't able to get anything right. Then in the last 20, we came back into the game. It almost was a game of 4 quarters.
Yeah, I think the biggest worry will be where's our balance in the game. So we obviously went from, say, kick to pass ratio of 12-1 to playing almost like 2019, 1 pass rucks, kick, quite conservative. Our team was set up that way. And then you've got to chase a game, so you go 14-0 down. Line out maul, no reward, whether they did it legally or illegally, you've got to move away from it. And I think, what we've built on with Tony Brown coming on a shape, that shape sort of disappeared. And then the problem is if you're chasing a game and you haven't run that shape and you don't have those options in and around, instead of saying, listen, okay, let's run that shape, but let's play the tighter options. So let's cut down the amount of offload, sort out our breakdown, but you still have that shape to create soft shoulders. We've gone completely the other way. We've gone, kick it a lot, run straight at the defense, don't have the flankers roaming wide in the trams. You don't have a lot of movement in around the ball carrier. And unfortunately, this weekend, we were set up to lead from the front and we had to chase a game down. So, in saying that, towards the end of the game, we had still so many opportunities to go get points out of this game. Not probably get a win, but get a draw out of it.
Because it's not as if, the All Blacks were that good. It was a game where we could have won, but just down to our own errors. And we will get into those areas. We will get into the areas of the game that we really struggled. Did you manage to watch the women's game, Flecky?
Just a little bit.
Quick comments on that one. We got to congratulate them. They're already through to the quarterfinals,
Absolutely,
but just beaten by a much better team that you can see have been, in this environment for so much longer.
The period that I watched, John, was where, South Africa had possession, but they just couldn't work their way through that French defence, and we were just getting hammered. So credit to the French; they were well organised, and credit to the Boks, for getting through to the playoffs. But they've got a lot of work to do because they're going to have to figure out how to get through like a defence system like the French. The English women have been very impressive as well, putting on some big scores. So it's a big challenge ahead.
And we are playing the Black Ferns in the quarterfinal. So the Boks playing the All Blacks second Test match. We've got the ladies playing the All Blacks. Yeah. And we will be predicting what we think will happen in those games. But before we get to that, we have to congratulate Mr. Skalkberger, who put his betting hat on last week.
Jeez, guys. And I had to, I don't often go against the Boks, but as a pundit, we know never go against the venue. unless you're Australia that come for the first time in 63 years and beat the Boks in Ellis Park. But I got one right. I had to go against you guys because I was training quite considerably in the money stakes.
Sculler finally mastered the art of betting. And
first one I got right.
And won 1,080 Rand as he turned his back on the Boks in the betting sense. And predicted that the All Blacks would win by 1 to 7 points. So, Sculler, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The standings currently, yes, well done. This means that Shimmy and I are still top.
Shimmy.
Yeah, I know.
And you're representing Shimmy today.
Okay.
We're still topping that with 2,200 Rand each, but you are right behind us with 1,780 rands.
Yeah, it's not comfort. Like, I still got to take risk. Hey,
and we still have the risk-free bet in place. What are the odds now? We are halfway through the Rugby Championship. The odds of the Boks winning it, what do you reckon? Do we still have a chance?
Yep.
Okay, nice. So our bet is still in play. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I think so. I think Australia, they were lucky to beat Argentina, so Argentina will come back. I think the Boks, we've got every chance to win this weekend.
Your feeling on that? We actually saw the team being announced. Quick views on the team, because it's very early in the week. Okay, we're going back to basics, I suppose, for us in terms of announcing the team early. Loads of changes.
Too many from our side.
Yeah, and completely new backline. So it's set up that we want to play Tony ball. Want to play more rugby. So, can you flip and flop through styles like that in big test matches? It's hard to get right. No Evan Etzebeth on the weekend. Again, we can't do the bomb squad, so we still set up with 5-3. Look, I mean, certain players, I think, there's future to that. Like Damien Willems at 12, that's super exciting for me. Like, I love his close contact skills. Also, if you play him as a playmaker, I think that's super exciting. Sasha gets a run at 10.
It's exciting and daunting at the same time.
It's a bit scary, isn't
Before we get to that game, though, we still need to do. It's a beautiful sound that every time we do the show. Coca-Cola, one of our proud sponsors. I hope you snapped the photo of the Coca-Cola on the back of the shorts on the weekend. You send that to #Coca-ColaZA, and you might just win either shorts for Coca-Cola or another Boks experience. Also, for all of you watching every weekend, there's about 80% of you watching that aren't subscribed. It'll help us tremendously if you do. So please just click the button, boom, subscribe, and then we're all happy. So please do that. Guys, let's get into the analysis. Now, when you're playing the All Blacks, one, you have to start well. We'll get to that later. But also, we have built a game around set phases, being strong at set phase time. Okay. Yes, we've developed from an attacking point of view. Our breakdown has been a concern throughout the year. And then defensively, we haven't been that solid either. What I would like us to look at today is, one, our set phases, how if that gets nullified, it takes out so much of our game and the ability to actually get points on the board. And that started with the lineouts. From the very first one, we really struggled.
Yeah, and I think the foreman, it's almost like the play dictates what lineout we're going to do, not vice versa. I think, getting ball security first. So that counts as a Springbok win, but the play's been nullified. It's so scrappy. So even if we went to the longer lineouts here, we go for a 6-man. Like, it's almost like we're forcing certain back balls. Wallace Atiti, like all flankers or 8th men do. Once it's over the 15, you just go mess it up. You get in the passing lane. And, that again counts as a win for us. But like you win the ball on the 5-meter post that you can't attack off the back of it. Unfortunately, we get a little knock on, which we also saw a lot. But like, our line-out rhythm is off. Like the Boks normally have this artificial rhythm where you get in and it's quick. All of these, you'll see a lot of movement, a lot of dummies, and I think quite poor execution, both on the lifts and the throw. And again, that was the form, and that's almost like our set play, which we want to attack off. Once that disappears, Lewitt was a bit better when he came on. He was a bit quicker in his movements. But then you've got to go, straight into... There's a different system to what we faced at Australia. Australia was like in a 2-pod system. Here it was like a man-watch system. So what beats the man-watch is the speed of the drill. And if the drill's not good, you get opportunity for the All Blacks to go. But this was like the picture of the game, you know.
Because that was the other element, Flecky, is that when we did win the line out, our maul couldn't get going either.
Yeah. So that was a key for me, is that our maul couldn't get going at all. And the way the All Blacks set at the maul was really, really impressive. Their body height. What I wanted to say about the contesting, though, is that, the great All Black side of the past and the great Crusaders side always had a very, very good contesting system in place, and a mirror system, as Sculler said. So when there was Whitelock and Retallick and all these guys that were playing for the ABs or their great sides, this time they've specifically gone in there with the intention to disrupt our lineup, and they did a very good job at that. But then what's the next part of that is stopping them all, right?
Yeah.
So you first stop them at source, contest and disrupt the lineup, and they put, obviously, Ruan under massive pressure. I believe Lewitt called better in that second half, and they made some plans. But what after that, when we started try to get our maul going, their body height was immense. And that is something that they've always prided themselves on. And they stopped every single maul attempt that we had. Yeah. And that's a major source of possession and power for our side going forward.
They're talking about that, just getting
set
the
way
hips
lower
down,
than us.
lower, back straight. Whereas we're very much upright there, and as soon as you miss that height level, then
also they were aware that it was legal, and I'm sure Sculler will take us through it as well. But the way that they swam through the maul, they disrupted it. They got their hands on that ball, stayed in the maul. They don't have to get out without changing their bind. All those things disrupted a major source of playing well for us.
And is it something that we can rectify? Because I think, and even Victor Matfield said, in studio on Saturday, and obviously you can watch all the games live on SuperSport, and the show is also live on SuperSport. Please do watch it, and don't forget to subscribe. Victor also said that that they've got a really good contesting system in place, the All Blacks, okay? Yeah. And if there's someone that knows his lineouts, it's Victor. Yeah. But it's that, and then also the combination of that, plus our rhythm and how slow we were in terms of executing, getting into the lineout and executing. And then also, because it's so easy to say, hey, Ruan Nokia, because he calls the lineout, that you put the blame on him, but it's the unit that failed that time. Sometimes it was the low throw, sometimes it was someone just out of sync.
Yeah, just a basic drill. Yeah. Look, obviously went in the plan with them all. Unfortunately, our foreman was our main attacking option. So, the foreman failed. So you got to throw that out the bank. Then off the back of that, you don't really have a strike play. And that's the way it came across on TV. Scott Barrett's super disruptive, whether he splits the jumper, whether he's in the air, or whether he actually fights through the middle. And a few times you'll see him on South African side not changing his bind. Tupo Avai on the other side, he tries to go over the top and he changes his bind. And look, you play in New Zealand, you're not going to get 50-50s, especially if you play at Eden Park, where it's a fortress. The Boks haven't won there since 1937. So you've got to be so much better in your execution. If you play at home and a guy gets coached out from the wrong side of the ruck, you get that more set and you get it going. Also, with the model, it's so dangerous, how they interpret it now by that use it once. If you start mauling from 25 or 30 meters out, or even a defensive maul, once they say, call it, going sideways, move at 9, you're stuffed.
Yeah, you're not getting the penalties like you did in the past, so far out, and you actually... taking the legs out of yourself as well. But just on the, you've got to ask the question, why did we use the 4-man instead of pre-game? They obviously had a look at the contesting system, the All Blacks, and they go, okay, well, we're going to struggle to get our ball on a 5-man and a 6-man. So they revert to the 4-man because that's supposedly an easier ball to get. Yeah. So they obviously showed a lot of respect for the All Blacks contesting system. Why they didn't do a lot of 5-man and 6-man mauls?
Because also, Sculler, and again, you probably know more about the liners than I do, but Sculler, you were there a hell of a lot. With a 4-man, there's so much space to work within the 10, So, and it felt as if we still congested it, but again, it comes back to the speed of the execution.
Correct,
if you go in, move, get the throw in, it's so much easier. Where we slowed it down, they can set, and then
I think once you've got to go to a fuller lineout. Where you can pick on a weaker jumper once we started losing it. But I think our attacking bank was the 4-man. Yeah. I think that's our attacking play. So once that failed, it was quite tricky. But I think the way we always...
Tough to maul from a 4-man, though.
You can't do it, So for me, it should work the other way around. If you know your lineout's weak, the lineout takes preference over the attacking play. Then once you build into the game with a bit of rhythm and you can take bigger risks, then all of a sudden you go to your main attacking weapon or set play where you think, okay, we can win back ball or we can manipulate the line-out to win it middle back. Where I think in the past the Boks line-out was more conservative. We'll take the bailout, we'll win it wherever, just to get that rhythm. And then once the opposition start to see, okay, we're going to take a risk, we're going to chase a forward ball, then you manipulate it to get middle or back ball.
Well, I think we're in agreement that it is something that is coachable and that we can be better at.
We say that, but like it's a recurring theme. We've got certain areas in our game that fails every weekend, which is the main worry or main concern for the Boks.
Okay, well, we do have a hell of a lot of concerns, I think, that we have identified. The one area where we've been extremely strong has been at scrum time. But then you have to be able to convert the scrum dominance that you have into points and also get rewarded on the day. And I didn't feel that we got rewarded. And I think the issue that I have with this is that a lot of the time we see scrums going down where there is a dominant team, and then just reset. And sometimes it is the penalty immediately. And again, I think there's frustration that we have in that how should it be officiated? And do you get the return, at scrum time? And this first one is a prime example of that. We see Fletcher Newell there. That's not a slip.
penalty.
Yeah, straight penalty.
That's a straight penalty, and that call's got to come from the TJ. Actually, I mean, they've got a relationship between the referee and the TJs, and if they see that, they've got to call immediately All Black penalty.
And I think that's the important thing, Flecky, is that it's not a touch judge anymore; it's an AR.
Okay.
No, but it's an assistant.
We still call them touches.
Yeah, it's an assistant referee.
100%. Well, even more reason why.
No,
he should
but that's what I'm
call.
saying. That is the point. In that they changed it because they want the assistant, the referee to assist.
Yeah.
And we see the replay here. Well, the reset, but going from a potential penalty to be able to go to 7-3 to them, again, terrible scrum. Got turned, absolutely messy.
Yeah.
And then get a relatively easy exit from there.
I think, if you go through the whole game, there's a lack of control from, the assistant referee and the referee in this game. The frustrating part for the Boks, we'll look at that. That's a penalty, Fletcher Newell. First time Thomas du Toit's knee touches the ground, it's in front of Dickinson. He blows him for a penalty, which is the right call, but that should have been a penalty from the get-go.
100%.
So even here, if you look at the, how extended Fletcher Newell is, versus an Ox, there's no way he can keep his body weight.
It's a poor picture that. I mean, the ARs and the referee will have a look at this on review and they'll just go, look, there's one dominant side there, and Ox is completely dominating.
But again, it goes down,
and they get away with it, yeah.
It goes down, and it's just play on.
Yeah.
So you don't get a reward. And also then for us, maybe if I just go back a little bit, and play it again, Scala, is that if we are so focused on the scrummaging, our flankers. It's a little bit late on that pick and go.
Yeah, I think the first thing is like suffocate and strangle that was our plan from the set piece. We didn't get enough reward for our scrum. I think, when we're going for the scrum, your nine's got to bail out, if it's that side's a hard scrum, you want to back your tight head to go. I never liked it to see an eightsman scoot around the flanker. I always used to try and get outside him and push him back in. So you and your number 8 can double team him. But it's just a byproduct for us really going for that scrum. Although they on their ball is going to be channel 1. On our ball, we can have a proper go at it.
And yes, sorry, I just wanted to show that one. The same picture, but us getting the reward for that.
I think what we also see a lot of these, these scrums where we had penalty advantages, them actually spoiling it at source. Their 9, their flankers not being bound.
Once we've got the advantage.
Once we had the advantage. So it's like a penalty on penalty.
And
that will lead into later in the game where we get a yellow card. First time, Kwacha jumps over, which is probably a penalty because it's a professional foul. But they were in that situation all the time, the whole game.
And again, I think, here's the one. Goes down again. You don't get the reward. Flankers are on their feet already. So if your strategy is, and again, scrummaging, and then just away too quick.
Well, to be honest, you as a flanker there, you want to back. That's Marco van Staden. You watch the ball. if they go channel 1 and it's into Satiti's hands and he's scooting off the back, all you've got to do there is just go forward. Tackling behind the gain line. He can't be caught in there. For me, that's an easy out.
I agree, Scull. I mean, that's your role as the open sider, but then also, I think we'll talk about it a little bit later with those line out. But there you can see Pollard is not come hard off the line either. He's got to know with the 9 who's blocking R9 that they're going to do an 8 pick and go.
Yeah.
He's got to come harder and tighter off the line, and he's given that space. Also.
To come back to the scrum quickly, how do you rectify that? In being able to get the reward from the referee? Is that a conversation pre-game, or is that just something where it's a flick of a coin, you either get it on the day or you don't?
I think the Boks is every week. Rusty would have had a chat saying, listen, we're going for the scrum. We're going to have the dominant scrum. You've got to have reward. So the fact that we didn't get reward would be a contentious issue with the referee meeting again this week. You show those pictures and you see the referee in charge for the week, and then you go, are we going to get reward out of a scrum? Yes or no? Is it, are we right? Within our rights to call for more scrum penalties? Are you going to allow us to dominate? And those conversations take place during the week. You have to.
Let's quickly have a break. When we come back, we will see whether we got rewarded for our 22-meter entries and some other critical moments within the game.
Cody from Paul has sold multiple vehicles to We Buy Cars. Suspicious? I think so.
Is that a crime?
No. Where are you getting the cars?
I buy them and I sell them at the spot like a normal person.
Okay.
No, man, I'm just an accounting student. I know a good deal when I see one.
That's Excel meant. What's more stressful, tax season or selling a car at We Buy Cars?
Tax season, obviously.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Okay, we've had a look at our lineouts and our scrums where we didn't get rewarded at all. Let's now have a look, guys, at our 22-meter entries. It was a massive talking point for us pre-game. We said we had to convert those entries. We did not manage to do it at all.
Yeah, not at all. And I think the frustrating part is it's almost that first half was a tale of 2 50-22s. Bowden Barrett's one and 100 Pollard's one. They go score straight off the back of it. We don't. They had 4 entries, converted 3, and unfortunately, this is the way we went about it. It's well played by the All Blacks. They've seen it before.
That's the point, right? Why are we doing that against the All Blacks? They will come up with a plan. We've seen that in the last 3 tests. It's something that surely you've got to do something different.
Yeah, we were thinking that probably the slip to the front row.
The slip all go up and actually have your winger running next to the ruck. You do the little come down and do a little inside ball.
It sets it up nicely to now know how they look to defend it, to say, okay, where might there be opportunities for next week? But is it a high risk move?
Once it works for a test match, and then I think you've got to have a variation of that play. Post that, because they would set it up and they've got the right numbers in and around. You see Scott Barrett, he's your main lineout disruptor. He's on the blind, targeting that thing, coming around there, knocking the hand.
But where did it work? It worked against Georgia, right?
Yeah.
And since then?
Okay, point made. Let's move on to the next one. Again, our maul, we've already highlighted it earlier.
Like Barrett's correct, but Parker can't just swim across.
Do that,
yeah.
So
and
he's
again,
still changing bind. He's
bind,
changing his bind. He's going to change it again, and ultimately he's the one that gets his hands on the ball.
Yeah.
So
people will look at Barrett and go, he can't do that. He can.
Yes.
He hasn't changed his bind, but certainly Parker has done that.
Yeah. So and that's in front of both the AR and the
100%.
referee. He's changed it 10 times, and ultimately, if you're Barrett, who's in there, he's in the way, but he's not going to prevent the ball from coming out because he's bound onto the player. And that's, unfortunately for the Boks, they'll look through us and the plan was probably the correct plan. But if you don't get reward, what's your next plan? And unfortunately for us, we didn't have another option because our 4-man, which our main attacking weapon, was failing, and we lost bulk of our lineup through doing that.
Or it is then attacking, off the top. And in a game like this, it's error on error on error. So now we get the ball. Boom. knock on.
So, in these conditions as well, I mean, it obviously must have been quite tough for Grant Williams and these guys. But, we need those options, those sliders and off the top from our more setups to get into the vacuum as a variation. So the plan is, I agree with Scully, the plan is right, it's just the execution of the plan lacked.
Again here, a little bit of return for the maul, but then what's the plan after that?
Well, this is the tough thing. Once you commit to the maul, it's really tough to have any shape really. So you got to truck your 12 up. And then you've got to try and work around the corner, and then you've got to have a bailout with some. So the Islander, proper carry. He's got no right to do that. Forwards work hard around the corner, and then it's just like we're battling for a bit of rhythm. Do you see Jesse Krull's offering himself? He's bailing out because you expect the forwards to be late on the turn, and there's just a lack of rhythm. And I think it's almost like once we went away from the fully linked up attack play and we changed it to one pass ruck to, I think, predominantly sort out our breakdown issues. I think it's almost like the rest of the shape, you get into bad habits by not being in motion, not running, not expecting the offload, the pass. And then you get like disrupted attack like this where no one's really in sync. And rugby, to be honest, attack is movement of bodies and being in sync. And if you're not in sync, you get one pass ruck, and then like it's easy to actually just target you. You make the breakdown a mess, flood the breakdown because there's no options. There's no threat for defense to go, okay, right, here's a soft shoulder.
Because we can't really identify a proper shape there, can we?
No.
And it takes so many rucks to actually get into something noteworthy.
Yeah, John, I think, we've got to give credit where it's due. And tactically, the All Blacks, I thought, were brilliant at the breakdown. They really climbed in, every single opportunity there. You can see again the counter ruck. He's perfectly legal to go for Kobus Reinach there because he lifted the ball up. So the whole game basically was how the AB slowed our ball down, whether we were looking to exit. They climbed in, wrecking ball, added numbers into that. We had to add more numbers. We were kicking off a slower ruck. Then when it came to our attack, as soon as they started piling into that breakdown, our 9 and 10 looked poor. So no longer could Grant Williams. I thought Kobus Reinach actually did well in the second half. But like you say, we went to that one pass rugby. We sorted out a little bit better. But in the beginning, Grant Williams was never on the front foot. He was never testing 10, 20, 30 around the rucks, which also meant that, that Pollard became static and lateral.
Yeah.
And that was, we looked very ineffective in attack in that first half and lost all shape. Pollard was lateral. Grant Williams was ineffective, and no longer could we get that momentum that we normally get.
No momentum, nothing going our way, and it just escalates. This is actually the last quarter of the game where after this and after the ball goes off the head of Cheslin, we get into it. But I mean, even
look, it's never forward, by the way. But like this is this is getting over the gain line.
That's good play
into the vacuum, and that's Grant knocked the one on with its exact same play. That's lovely. That's effective over the gain line. Unfortunately for us, the end result is you get a positive, you get a 22 entry, and we end up with a negative outcome. And that was sort of the theme of the entire game for us.
Okay, guys, then line-out's not going our way, no reward from scrum, 22-meter entries, no reward whatsoever. What I then did was I went through the big moments in the game. So again, if we talk about tactics and test match rugby, it comes down to the moments. And it just seemed as if, 70 to 80% of the big moments we managed to lose. The psychology of going into a test match, Flecky, start of the game, what would the approach have been from our point of view? We started relatively well in terms of the kickoff, good chase, but then the first attacking opportunity, we knock it on, as we will see. Is that maybe because of the approach that we would have had before and saying we're going to kick a hell of a lot? You didn't have that mindset of actually even keeping the ball in hand.
For Jean, I think that's a great start up until that moment. And, to say whether we should have kicked from the previous ruck before the era, that's the way the old Springboks would have played. I think that's on momentum, and we're attacking space. And there you can see Pollard was on the front foot.
The option is the right one.
The option's the right one, And I think their mindset would have been, we want to stay on top of the defence, and they could have, if they just didn't make that error there. But I think we would be going backwards if we said that we wanted to kick from the previous ruck.
Like for me, the thing that stands out about the All Blacks is how many soak tacklers they are. They're not very dominant. So Marco van Staden straight over the gain line. Off the back of that, your triggers, the ball is in front of you. I just think it's quite a poor option by Handro. The pass sort of goes in between Damien and Jesse. They're offering lines.
Exactly.
Give it to them early and let them dominate contact.
Or show and go yourself. I mean, that's 100%. One of the best rucks to attack from actually is when your fly-off actually has a little bit of a go.
Exactly.
It's one of the fastest rucks because he's attacking soft shoulders, as you say.
A lot has been said about our defensive ability and the space in the backfield. If we look at this picture, could the Boks have done anything differently? Because Willie seems to be in no man's land there, but he's not in that. He's got the pace to be able to close down if Will Jordan gets the ball there, but he also needs to check the cross kick. So he's kind of in between. Is he at fault, or is it more what happened prior to that?
So from my side, it's what happens prior, actually. I think that's a more set-up Sculler from the front. They've slid out from the front, and there's 2 long passes that have had to happen before it gets to Barrett for the cross kick. So for me, there's been 0 line speed initiated by Pollard. And he's the guy who's got to get us off the line there. He's got his 2 loose forwards on his inside. There's 2 long passes. Barrett should never be able to make that another pass or another kick. And I felt that we held back. And the same thing, I just feel he doesn't. He checks, and then he goes. I think for me, that's the problem.
I think what we've seen in our defence is the check. Which before that, we would just go. And you can go fetch them 15 meters deep. I think they get the kick away defended perfectly. And the guy dives early. So it's not even a 50-50. You stand strong. The guy's head hits your shin and you make it a turnover. You're not lifting your legs and let him slide over you. You just got to be strong there if you're Willie, and it's perfectly defended. If the kick was a bit further back and perfect, you had to make a one-on-one tackle.
Yeah.
To let him get away when he's on the deck there. I mean, his closest player is 20 meters from him, from Narawa.
But
it should never be allowed.
Barrett is kicked on his terms, Sculler. That's my issue.
Yeah, I agree.
So he can be able to kick the perfect kick. There's not enough pressure on him by Pollard there to disrupt that kick or make it higher, or more on an angle, so that Willie's in a better position to make it.
Yeah, and that's the issue. If you have a reasonably quick line speed, if you can play through 12, that's where you can access and get one-on-ones out wide. You don't get it through 10, and that's 2 long passes, like Flecky said, and then you isolate Willie on a one-on-one. Even though, if he looks back at that Willie, he will go why didn't I just
could have done better? Yeah.
Stand tall, stand strong. Yeah.
Wait till he stops sliding and steal the ball or whatever.
Perfect start for the All Blacks. Then, for 15 minutes, not much happened in the game. They kind of felt each other out there. Now this one. So the reason I played from here is that, we managed to get the ball back. You get knock-on advantage. Kanan kicks it immediately.
Oh, crazy decision.
Kicks it immediately, and a perfect kick off the left foot from Beauden Barrett. Now, the reason I play that is because what happens now, obviously, they get the line out, and then we will now look at the line out and what they do there, and we know that they score the try. Decision making.
I mean, probably gives you insight into the mindset. It's a knock-on.
Yeah.
You want to move that from there. What does your transition play look like? It's surely not putting it on the boot. No.
You don't kick away the position straight away. But again, for me, brilliant from the All Blacks. Yeah. But as a loose forward is defending inside of the 10, they do a burner like that over the top. Yeah. You're off the line. That's man and ball. And for me I know Pollard slips here a little bit, but Marco and Pollard haven't got hard enough off the line. It's their man. He should never have the time to be running at us. Yeah. Our defense should be running at them, and that should be a man and ball tackle.
If you go back to our setup, and this is where I think it was a good spot from the All Blacks. If you Malcolm Marx is up front, so he's got to look at the front ball, which he does. He's got to look at the bailout. Grant's going to bail him out there. But then you move on the ball. But the chances of he's got to run 20 meters sideways to make a tackle on Will Jordan. You probably should have made the tackle, but still the damage was done. They would have been over the gain line by 10 meters. So if we had our full line speed mindset that we had in the past, I think you even set it up differently. I think Pollard's on first receiver and Marku van Staden goes on the inside ball. And then Malcolm is your bailout. He's there to steal the ball.
He's there to steal.
So
but
basically,
the other thing is 2 9s.
Yeah.
So it actually should be a penalty.
Oh, there we
2
go,
9s
yeah.
on the All Blacks.
Yeah.
So that should be a penalty to us.
And look, I mean, we're going to go
Just a technical.
we're
well
gonna roam around and contest. Here's your roamer. So we're going to go up back ball. We don't want to give them any ball. At first, Ibn will go on a single lift and he'll get finished off by Sia if he does get in the air. So they go up and they obviously Thomas Tuer is supporting. So there's no ways he's getting off the back of it. And then I think there is a bit of subtlety in how nicely Will Jordan runs this. And he runs away from Malcolm Marx. He doesn't run towards him. He runs on that angle. And Malcolm looks at it. He's probably going, that's a tackle. I got a shoulder on him. I should complete it. But I think our setup was wrong from the get-go.
I agree. I think, where Marx is positioned as well, yes, he does have to, watch that bailout in the front, but he's also there to add another heavyweight to stopping a more potential more. And they are set up with a more with Wallace Titi at the back there and Parker at 6. But again, 2 9s should be a penalty. We're trying to defend a more situation. Clever play from them with the burner over the top. We definitely could have done better.
I think we've always, the Boks, when they're good, they defend the ball, not the man.
Yeah.
So you stop the ball.
Yeah.
So you've got to ask yourself, in our setup there, if the burner goes over the top, they can't string another pass. There's one short pass in it.
That's it, yeah.
So even if you line up Andre on Satiti, Van Staden, if you get man and ball there, I mean, it's the strike plays over. There's not another pass coming. So it's almost like we're looking at the numbers now and worried about, that's why we're checking. Where in the past, our strength was we defend the ball.
100%. I agree with you 100% there. We're checking and we're not going for the ball. And I think in the second half, they sorted that out.
Yes. We grew, our defense grew in this game.
Agreed, yeah.
Again, going through the game and so many things that we've mentioned already, the breakdown, the All Blacks were dominant. They were far smarter at breakdown time than us. But what I do want to show, and that is where I got frustrated on the weekend, is just what happens around it. Now, have a look at the entry of Tupou Vaa'i. Look at where he cleans.
Penalty.
Side entry, where he finishes up, and then also his actions post that. So check the space that he consumes there and what he does. Holds on to Eben-Etzebeth it's smart, but it's not legal.
It's a All Black trait. They've always done it. You think of Retallick, I think he's cleaned myself out more from my own side than his own side. And they pick up Barrett on Eben-Etzebeth in the first half. But like they're running hard attacking lines as the tip option or the pass option, and then your entry is going to be side on.
100%.
We saw the 50-22 and what it did for the All Blacks. Pollard with a fantastic kick here, 50-22, spot on. But then I think
we've got to look at the time.
Yes, but I think this explains. This is like a great. It showcases what happened on the day. The All Blacks get the 50-22. They score from it. We get the 50-22. We get the opportunity just before halftime to score points. And what happens? Total confusion at line-out time.
And I mean, you probably hate to use the word panic, but there was definitely a bit of panic in the ranks by this stage.
That's not common for us to make those.
And that's why I'm saying it's not only you go and you blame.
So you can see he says no, he couldn't hear the call, but yeah.
And like, you could see that obviously one tempo, Andre Pollard says, okay, let's go on top of them. And I think there's something wrong with our little system, like who gives the call? Because normally our 9 has now got to run to the hooker. But that is, you've got a lot of time to sort of get your call and then run in together in that scenario, because the ball's in front of you. When you're running backwards, I think it's a bit harder. Or you've got guys like...
And it's not an off-the-cuff sort of in the situation call, right? I mean, surely in their prep, they would have gone, our first 50-22 is going to be a 6+1. We're going to go with a slider. They would know in Rassi, he would have planned that, in advance. So Yeah, it's uncommon to see that sort of confusion coming into a line-out.
And then, the question was, where would the magic come from? This play from Willie, brilliant pass. Chesn just not being able to stay infield. On a different day that stays infield, he gets the ball, he scores a try.
And, people ask why you pick Willie. If you play 108 Pollard, I think you've got to have an extra playmaker. Yeah. And this is where, we didn't see this picture a lot, but that's what you would be looking for a guy like Willie Leroux, is to be brave in the playmaking, unlocking defenses either through his foot or his pass. That's an exceptional ball. And you're right, John, that stays in. We're probably in for 7-pointer. And
we still get the opportunity post this because they now mess up their line-out. We're able to get this back. Was there a knock-on, potentially maybe even a knock-on there from Grant? But we're in a position to score a try. It takes the game to 14-10. But just again, the execution and the efficiency when it comes into 22-meter plays, just not there.
Yeah, he's so close to scoring that. He rolls onto his back, and unfortunately now it's a goal line dropout. Like back in the day, you had a second nibble at it, but you almost got to be so sure of scoring it now instead of going for that. Just roll it back. Be patient. And we saw it in the All Blacks, try in the second half, how patient they were when they build up.
Absolutely. I was about to say the same thing. If you think about Leinster, Ireland, when they're close to the line, how organised and patient they are. It's almost impossible to stop a try-scoring opportunity there when you've got numbers and you've got a system that you're playing to.
And especially taking account, it's slippery in New Zealand. Auckland's got the biggest raindrops in the world. So, it's impossible. If you just land short, you're just going to slide over. Yeah. Similar to, you look at the Malcolm Marx try.
Exactly.
He does it from 3 meters out.
We spoke about lost opportunities, but also the detail in terms of our breakdown. And I think this is a soft moment. The clean by Ibn Esabet, soft moment in that just falls on top of the ruck rather than cleaning it through. Easy turnover for Vai. And again, just emphasizing the fact that at breakdown time, we just weren't good enough.
Well, it's the coach killer, isn't it? We probably have a bit of a set play. That comes from a dropout. You can see our setup, you get it to Marco van Staden, he makes the midfield ruck, and then you sort of split the defense. You see Ireland run the little, that little swap with props and fullbacks and everything, and you put the defense under so much pressure. There's no reason, you've trained that all week. Van Staden's carrying it. Yeah. You've got to get numbers in and around him. And especially when your breakdown's been under the pump, there's counter-rucks coming, they're coming from the side. First man, first target. That's the
thing
most
for
important.
me. In those two clips there's zero urgency by the supporters to get in early and connect with the ball carrier, heading through or just win the race. Yeah. Both those, we were very passive on our entries. And I think that was quite common in that first half. But even this is now in the second half, it just didn't look like us. We weren't aggressive enough in the carry. We weren't aggressive enough in the clean. We lost that race to the breakdown, and they were just flooding it and putting us under pressure.
But also, we weren't good at it. But also, these aren't the kind of pictures you want to see at ruck time. 3 guys on all fours. There's no contest there anymore.
No, they've sealed that off completely. Yeah.
Surely we can't see pictures like that at ruck time, and we get blamed a lot for the way that we create a long ruck. But the ruck was an absolute mess, and this one explains it best to me. I'm actually just gonna go back a couple of seconds, start it off again. Look at the time, 57:25. This ruck starts. Now, what is happening here? Oxenchair goes on the opposition side, moves a player, which should be a penalty. They go back in. 3 other guys goes in. The ref coaches a little bit more.
What's it?
And 25 seconds later, we have the end of the ruck. Now, is that what we want to see, and is that what we're trying to create at ruck time?
Definitely.
Because I don't understand that. And when I say I'm frustrated because I don't understand it. And the only way you get it better is by, from the start of the game, setting an example and making sure that there's a clear understanding of how it will be officiated.
So it started by someone trapping Kobus Reinach. So trapping, someone's holding him in, predominantly a cleaner. So I agree with referees where if someone's on purpose trapping a player who's making a concerned effort to roll out, back in the day that was a penalty. I think that shouldn't be allowed. So obviously then Ox goes, he removes Kobus Reinach from the compromised position and rolls him out. But there's no reason why it should be a 25-second ruck, or there's no reason why the ruck should be 5 to 7 meters long.
Yeah.
That's not part of it.
And they're off their feet.
And they're off their feet.
Not a good picture at all. This was an extremely good picture for the Boks when this happened. Wilco Louw on the field. And I'm just going to play this through for about 6 minutes. What happened here, firstly scrum time, so much, absolutely demolished him. Tight head.
I mean, that's the sexiest moment of the game. and Kwagga, carries proper.
But look at the aggression and the clean out as well by
the intent.
Session. Yeah.
And this is what we mean with the previous Ox and Check being held up. It's just patience. And it's so hard to stop. And here we can see proper detail in and around. Loer de Jager's there to help out. He hits the outside shoulder. Piet-Steph latches. Yeah. And it's Loer de Jager that actually creates the try, with 100%. Obviously Piet-Steph being on the back of him. But that's the picture we want to see if the Boks get into the 20. And the problem I've got is sometimes we revert to a kick in the 22. Oh. Yeah, we tried the little grubber over the top.
Yeah.
Like a special mention.
The grubber over the top.
The grubber down the bottom, or the chip over the top, sorry. Special mention to getting the sub on. It's a defensive scrum.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is. You put that little card in. Wilco Louw will be raring to go. Does he get on? Does he get on? He gets on at the right time. And I mean, that first contribution is next level.
But we've still got so much to go through and we're running out of time, guys. As a coach, Flecky, you just got back into the game. You're within 7 points and then this happens.
Coach killer. Mm-hmm. Absolute coach killer. I mean, Lutz, he's got to, it's a penalty all day.
Yeah. And when you could see Rassie's, he had some extreme frustration off the back of it. I think what is a lost art? And we'll see it come now. It's just done it. For me, that domain in and around the 22, that's your 5 lock and it's back supporter. I mean, you've got to, and I know it's tricky. Maybe the ball got blown around by the wind.
It's a good kick.
It's a good kick, but that's your number 5 all day long. Whether you're running back and taking it, and there was no better guy. There we go. And I think he's not happy there. I think the whole of South Africa, and we can't blame Rassie for what he did there. We're all feeling exactly the same way. But that's your 5 locks domain. And Victor Matfield was the best in the world at it.
But so, sorry, Schalk, to interrupt you there. But now we try and rectify it. So it was a mistake. Now we try and rectify it. We concede a penalty. The first penalty for me, I mean, we're still pretty good here. So have a look. I think Wilco Louw actually gets penalised for being offside. He's at the back of the ruck there, back of the ruck. But there's a penalty.
That's not a penalty.
No, it's not a penalty.
Doubt about that penalty, no doubt whatsoever in terms of what Kwagga does there.
100%. That's a yellow card all day.
Yeah. Yeah, they're 2 meters from scoring a try. You can't do that. The penalty advantage. I think the frustrating part for the Boks our discipline was supreme in the second half, but the 2 penalties we did concede. Piet-Steph coming through the ruck, he was beaten, the ruck was over, plays the number 9, it's a silly penalty. And this put us under so much pressure. That's a penalty already, and then you go make it worse by conceding another penalty and a yellow card.
And also, I mean, it just shows it. But I'm going to fast forward by 30 seconds. 30 seconds on, they're still attacking.
And we mentioned how impatient we are. This was supreme.
Great patience.
Control by them. And you could feel it building. Yes, we've got a man down, 14 men. Ironically, when you're defending this close, it doesn't make such a big difference because you've got 15 or 14 men in the front line. You've got no one covering the backfield. They tighten up the defense, and then actually, Tupai running the short line. It's often a skill that you get wrong, is where you want to access the space out wide, but often the space sits right next to the ruck and direct.
And they're just waiting for the opportunity. I think that's where they were so much better than us, and they have been certainly this year in terms of exploiting the defense, narrowing the defense, and then when the opportunity is right, where the space is there now. Next ruck.
I mean, the Boks,
actually a good tackle there.
The Boks defense was amazing. And here's what I mean. The short option, you make a long pass there, you give the Boks opportunity
Or ball in the air, yeah.
to recover. We've got some pace out wide, so awesome line, awesome option. And the frustrating part is they had 422 entries in this game. They scored 3 tries, and we had multiple opportunities and just couldn't.
Okay, the last few that we will look at is actually all about ruck. Adi Sevilla makes a tackle, but remains there. Remains at that ruck in the way, and now a good counter ruck happens post that, but surely it should be the
That's a crazy decision. I mean, that is a penalty all day for South Africa. Adi may say that he's been pinned down by Marks, whatever, but then if the counter ruck comes and he is pinned down, that's still a penalty to South Africa.
Yeah, I agree. That's penalty all day long. I mean, the timing of the counter ruck was good.
Yes.
It's almost like as soon as our body shapes changed, or they gave us a target where you sort of look backwards, that's when they hit us. So, I mean, it's credit to their detail around the breakdown. But Adi Sevilla, if you're that tackler and you're getting bullied in the tackle and you're trying to be tackle fight, you know when to surrender. You can't fall on the wrong side. That's a clear target for every referee.
So our second try, again, solid scrum. That feed from Reinach is certainly not straight, but basic. A little better in terms of our detail and our patience. And then they just run out of numbers.
Well, and the reason why they run out of numbers is because they're contesting so hard in the tackle and the breakdown. Yeah. And that's got to open up space somewhere. And he exploited it brilliantly. I thought he had a very good game in Kubis. But, that's what we should have done all day, Scala. For me, we should have attacked through 10, 20, and 30, or even negative 10, either side of the ruck, stay on top of the defense. They're committing numbers. There's got to be some sort of give somewhere. For us to try and attack them outside the 10 channels is crazy. Stay on top of them, go through the middle of them. We've got the forwards and the ability to do that. We just had to sort out.
I think that's why we're all positive about the weekend coming. Yes, we've made a lot of changes in our team, but there's so many soaked defenders in that All Black lineup. If we just do what we know we can do, hold on to that ball, we're getting gain line all day long against them. And that last 20, we really put them in a box. Yeah. Actually turned the stats into our favor, where we dominate territory, possession, carries. And they couldn't handle that heat, Take on top of that our scrum got dominance. If we iron out our line-out, we can put this All Black side under immense pressure, and they'll get frustrated and make errors deep in their own half.
Guys, we've only got a couple of minutes left. This goal, Pollard knocks it on, but then the hit on the head, foul play supersedes knock on.
100%,
correct?
Yeah. It's a yellow card all day, all day.
And then just a crazy, so he explains it all here, but a crazy couple of minutes, last few minutes in the game. We see it there. And then at this line now, so much happening here. Firstly, the sack, is the sack late?
100%.
Only happens late.
Yeah.
Then first ruck after that. Okay,
that's another high
that's
shot,
fine.
By the way.
And now look at 18, just lies there, no clear.
Yeah.
And then Adi Sevilla gets again, debatable. Is there?
No, he hasn't released the player. It's part of the tackle.
I mean, you've got to be on the ball, don't you? And like, he's a big time player, and he had a quiet game by his standards. Like, he comes up with the goods, and that's going to be in his highlights reel. But he's round the body.
No, he's round the body.
He doesn't show.
He hasn't shown daylight.
He doesn't go for the ball. So you clamp a player. If you take into account what happened in the rucks before that and this ruck, if you look at the swimming across, being coached away, not wanting to give another penalty, are they on a team warning? They should have been by that stage.
100%.
So
it will be hell of a frustrating. Rusty Erasmus, we're waiting for a video coming out this side.
I think you might just use our video, because we certainly sound like sour grapes here. But it is. It's because we don't understand, and maybe we just need to be educated in terms of it. But it's the last 3 minutes in the game, and so many questionable decisions. Here we go, Jan-Hendrik Wessels makes the tackle, the
Awesome
release
turnover.
then on the ball with all that pressure, amazing. Now, the concern for me, goes to ground. The referee speaks to Scott Barrett there, tells him to stay out, because the ruck is formed. He goes back in. still in, and then releases.
Well, what about the gent on the floor? There's
The
another
gent-
player on the floor.
He's holding it
He's
on.
holding onto the ball.
So, guys, I mean, Scala, we had Flo on last week as
he's the breakdown specialist.
but so are you. I mean,
To be honest, my fuse is way
You and
too
I
short.
never clean the break.
My fuse is way too short to handle any of this. I would have taken it into my own hands, and I probably ended up with a red card. But the frustration for the Boks, I think first frustrating part will be their own performance and the errors they made and allowed this to be a contest that they couldn't win by the poor start. Secondly, those little things, you look at that in a video review and you go like, we targeted the breakdown. We knew they're going to be a handful, but how do they get away with it? And how did we allow it to become that type of contest?
How's the motivation, though, going into Wellington?
And
For
that's-
that, around
no,
the breakdown?
it's big.
Yeah.
It'll be big. Guys, we've run out of time. Are we by moment of the week? Give me the moment of the week for you.
Volkulo coming on scrum,
Yes.
tight head.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
Do you agree with him?
Yes.
Okay, nice. The show is called The Verdict, Flecky, for a reason, because we give our honest verdict on the game. How do you rate the Boks' performance out of 10? Go.
3.
Oof. 3?
Yeah,
That is the worst rating we have ever had.
I can see where Flecky comes from, but
Yeah.
I think, honestly, the Boks will look at it, go, we created so many opportunities, but we're just too poor in our execution. I'm going to go 5. And the crazy thing about it is we could have had 2 points out of this game.
Yeah, we could have.
We weren't good enough to win it, but we could have had a draw.
Guys, let's settle on a 4 then. I'll average it out for us. We'll go for it wasn't good by the Boks. It wasn't good. It wasn't good enough. And still you were within 7 points of the game. Understanding of the breakdown, maybe just getting clarity on that will help a hell of a lot. Lots of changes to the game on the weekend. Do you feel confident?
Yeah, I'm like the changes scare me.
Yeah.
The way we're going to play, I think, is going to be more ambitious. That scares me a little bit, but I think we're better than this All Black side. Yes.
Flecky, thanks for joining us. We will have you on the show on the Friday as well for Boks Unpacked. So then we can go a little bit further into the analysis of the preview for the game on Saturday. We will have the All Black team as well. Thanks for joining us. We will see you on Friday again. Thanks for joining The Verdict. Like I said earlier, you can watch it live on SuperSport or on Catch Up. So can you watch the live Springbok games. Thanks for joining us. It wasn't a good weekend for the Boks. Let's hope the coming weekend will be better. We get another shot at it. And in life, you don't often get that opportunity. Cheers.